This is the Comedy Food Truck Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Comedy Food Truck and subscribe to us on the Comedy Food Truck YouTube channel to see full video versions of each episode. You can find links to all of this at comedyfoodtruck.com. Like us, share us, subscribe, and leave a review. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
You're listening to the Comedy Food Truck Podcast. We talk life, food, relationships, and have fun with all of it. And now here's your host, comedian John Hill.
Hey, light savings time. No, I'm sorry. What's happening, everybody? We're back. You're listening. I don't know what that says, more about you or us, but you're still listening to us, and we couldn't be more thrilled. And I'm so excited. Listen, most of you guys know this by now because we pretty much admitted it. We record these in bunches. So I always love when we start out because, anyway, I'm just glad you're here. I'm having a moment.
Oh man, I always like looking at John when he first starts the show because
I'm
he
searching.
might as well put his hands in his head in his hands. His eyes start rolling like, oh boy, here we go again.
I'm rolling this out.
Does anybody here a pilot? Does anybody know how to fly a plane?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Usually I'm just
Come
looking
up to the
behind me.
cockpit, please.
I'm usually looking behind me to figure out when somebody's going to pull me out of this mess. Like, they're going to figure this out one day, right?
There ain't no ripcord for this.
Man, I know. They're going to figure this out one day. They're going to be like, is it? I'm going to find a new podcast.
You better not.
No, exactly.
Better
No,
not.
super thrilled. Actually, every single week, I feel like there's people commenting in the sections and stuff. And so, sections? Chats? I don't know.
In the tabloids.
Right. I put the idiot in social media. I have no idea about this stuff. Anyway, I'm really honestly thrilled. Thank you guys for listening and being a part of the show one more time. Feel free to put stuff in the feeds based on what we come up with. And I want to introduce everybody. To my left is Jared, our tech master.
You almost said Jeff. I heard it coming out.
Jeffred.
Jeffred.
To my left is Jeffred. It's G-Rad. Jared, he's our tech guy. He makes everything go. To be honest with you, you wouldn't get to enjoy all this insanity if it wasn't for Jared.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Say hello to
Especially all the people
Jared.
out here in the YouTube area.
Right.
Hello.
Right? Hi, YouTube.
And oh, that's right. They watch us.
Yeah.
Anybody want a peanut?
That's right.
So wait,
Jared is wearing a
so
crazy
one more
shirt.
time. John is here.
Uh-huh.
And who's over here? Scott? Scott.
Oh, are you
And
doing
then
the
you're
directions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right there.
You're right there.
Yeah.
John's
Doing
right
the
there.
directions again.
John's there.
All right, cool.
If I can't figure out social media, I'm not going to figure out where my face is in this thing. But I am glad that Jared is part of this thing and, again, makes it run. He's sort of the guy who, brings
Give our
you
show
this
the
mess.
runs.
Yeah, well, you know, somebody has to.
What's coming out of your speedo?
Somebody's got to keep things moving.
Moving, runs. Okay.
Moving along. Hey, next to Jared, at least in my world,
Like
I don't know
Bran.
about on the screen, is our man Gator, Scott. What's happening, man?
Hey, hello.
Scott is here. And some of you are watching on live. If you're watching, you know someone's next to Jared. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, we're going to go over to Jared. Ray.
Jeff, too.
We should just start this for the time.
man.
Because he just
Yeah, I got Jeff. I got Jasper. No, Ray's with us again, as always. And what's up, Ray?
Hello, everybody.
And we do have a guest, so I'm going to flip it over to Scott and let him introduce our guest because we've been trying to have more guests this year. Trying to get more people on the show. Like some of the episodes we had Randy. Who else did we have?
Chris.
We had Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Chris
Well,
was
that
like
was way back. I'm talking about this year.
Yeah.
Did we only have Randy? Is that the only guy we've had so far?
No, we had. Oh yeah. For
I
this
thought we had-
2021.
No, Mark-
2021.
Well, for our other episode. Oh no, that's
Our live
right.
episode, we had Mark Christopher Lawrence.
But I'm talking about this year.
Yeah. Randy's the only one that's come and hung out with us so far.
Okay.
So wait,
Well,
so this year?
now we have a second. Yes.
To be fair, we've been a little lazy about getting guests.
Well, it's the COVID thing. That's
That's
the
true.
issue.
Yeah,
You can't bring
Yeah,
people.
let's say
difficult.
that. That's,
Yeah.
That's it.
we'll
Good.
stick with that.
So Scott, tell us who you have for us today.
That was very Mr. Rogers.
Change into your tennis shoes and put your sweater on while you're at it there.
Thank you for joining, everybody.
Here come the cab. Do you think the cab's going to stop in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood? No.
Who is it? Can you say alimony?
I can't remember the word. My favorite was, I forget what word he came up with, but it was something with,
Did you say it?
can you say stupid? It was something like that. But yeah, go tell your mama. Did she hit you? You said it right. So funny. I love that bit. All right, Scott, tell us, man.
Yeah, this is my good friend Glenn Smith. He's a chef.
You're not supposed to say last names, so okay.
Well, it's all right. There's a lot of Smiths. There's
Okay,
probably a
now
lot
my
of
phone's
Glens.
going to start ringing. And all of a
That
sudden
is
my-
true. It does sound a bit like a fake name.
Yeah,
This is my
no,
friend
but
Glenn
that's
Smith.
your real name. Yes.
It's a stage name.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't pronounce the last name, so I just went with Smith.
Why is
But,
Mr. Smith here?
Well,
Why'd you bring him on the show?
Because he's a chef, and we all like to eat, and now we've got
Right.
3 people here that are chefs, and not 1 ounce of food
Just Skittles.
sitting here on the table except Skittles.
It's
But
the
he's
same
like-
stuff that's here every time we come in here.
But just so I understand, he's not a home cook.
No,
He's not a guy who likes to cook.
no,
He's a chef.
Yes.
Like a real trained
like a
chef.
real trained chef.
like after his name, it says comma chef.
Is that the degree, Glenn, for a chef? What do you, like you do training? Like
Culinary
you went
or-
to culinary school?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I did.
Graduated? You
Yes.
actually, what,
You
well,
get- you
I
get
should
a-
let Scott ask you, but my point is, do you get some type of degree with letters on it, or is it?
Well, over time, once you get certified, you do get letters.
certified.
Certified executive chef goes all the way up to master chef.
Oh, wow.
Certified executive pastry chef, certified executive catering chefs. It's so
Wow.
many certifications. It keeps going on. So,
So, what is it when you first get out and you're not certified yet?
you just
Culinary
a
graduate?
grunt.
You're just a graduate?
Just a grunt.
Like a line cook?
Yeah, just plain old line cook.
Okay. And you work your way up. And then do you get this from experience, or do you get this from more like official training?
Actually,
Or
it's
both?
more about hands-on. I mean,
Yeah.
the culinary school, and it's not for everybody. I mean, if you looked at a lot of people from like, who is it? Oh man, his name just left me.
Like a famous chef?
Yeah,
Like Ramsay?
No, Gordon. You know, he's been formally trained. He's
Yeah.
definitely been trained, but there's others that have not been trained, but yet they're famous chefs, and they worked under other good chefs, and that's what got them. It's called the journeymans, where they had to go from restaurant to restaurant.
Yeah.
But culinary school is just a base, but your experience is actually in the field, in the trenches, you know, in under 800-degree ovens, getting yelled at by some guy 10 feet away from you and trying to get the food out within 15 seconds. Without
Jared,
crying.
you went to culinary school? Did you
I did.
finish?
Yeah. I didn't. I actually
Okay.
got my certificate, but I didn't actually like get a degree in it. But
But you got a certificate, so you did finish something.
I
You got a
finished. Yeah, I
certificate.
finished the cooking part of it.
Unless your certificate was like you booted out certificate.
Right. Yeah. See you later.
Pink
Yeah.
slip.
Yeah.
Right.
People ask me all the time, you know, what culinary school would you recommend? And I always tell them, and you can disagree with this, and I want to know what your opinion is.
Okay.
I always tell them, I think you're better off getting some like cooking courses in somewhere and just going to work in a restaurant, like work your way up, like you said. Because culinary school in itself can be very expensive.
It's very. I mean, if the CIA, which is the creme of as far as the United States, it's really up there. I mean, I think right now.
Is that the Culinary Institute of America?
Yes,
Yes.
the CIA, not the Central
Central
Intelligence.
They cook too, but with different.
Actually, that group doesn't exist officially.
Okay, but it's there, just so you know.
Right.
But
They're watching us right now.
I know. But the thing about it is, I mean, most people can't afford it, but if you actually work under a really good chef and you have a drive, that's what's going to make you good.
Yep.
Just cooking food means nothing unless you have a drive and desire to do it. I mean, I didn't have, at the time, I didn't have $90,000 to go to CIA.
Yeah.
So I went, I'm a graduate of the Art Institute that's now closed because of the for-profit, like every other school that was for-profit. But I managed to get my degree in it.
Yeah.
And I'm learning the same things. But, you know, it like you said, it has to be who you work under. If you're working under a good chef, he's going to circle you around other good chefs.
Got it.
And that's what's going to make you good. Right. You know?
I do notice whenever there's those shows on TV and they're doing like a contest or something and they introduce chefs, they always talk about who they studied under.
Yes. And that's the key. It's who you study
They're always
under.
dropping names.
They have to. It's
Chefs are very insecure.
well, yeah. They're
Always dropping names.
They're,
It's like, you know, I took preaching class at Masters with John MacArthur. Never even met the
never
dude.
even there?
Never even met the dude, but I went to his school.
you know, it's,
I was at a Billy Graham crusade once.
Yeah.
Now I'm a preacher.
yeah.
No, it's true. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, no, I understand. The whole point, it's sort of
Your tutelage.
so the system is more of a mentoring thing. It's more of an apprenticeship kind of a thing.
Correct.
The old day, like a wizardry or something, you know.
Yeah, sorcery, you know, like Harry Potter or something.
Right, right.
It's just,
No, that's
Well-
that's kind of an ancient thing, though. It's an ancient form of clearly training. Is that sort of
Well,
apprenticeship thing? Not the sorcery thing, but the apprenticeship thing.
But you got to
Alchemy.
you got to keep in mind, chefs derives from kings. I mean, kings had a person that was in charge, and that's why they have such huge egos that just pretty much annoying at this point in time because they still think they're kings.
Right.
You know, but the fact is, you know, it's a matter of prestige. I mean, the higher up you come, the more stress goes with it.
Right.
The more creative the food is, the more expensive it gets. So, you know, I'm pretty much at the bottom level, whereas I teach, and
So you do teach.
I do teach at the Valley College in
Okay.
San Bernardino.
Nice.
Right now, I'm teaching baking, so you know,
Okay.
I'm trying to keep them from
Is that part of a larger culinary program, or is it kind of elective classes that you're teaching?
No,
or-
it's part of the culinary process. Whereas you know they'll do like the baking program, which I'm helping.
Yeah.
And then it's the savory, which is the line cooks, the being online doing fancy dishes with savory foods.
Okay.
The issues I'm having is people are scared to touch dead meat. So I mean, you know, there's a chicken here, and they think everything comes from the store, and it's like
You
no.
said dead meat.
Yeah, dead meat.
You mean dead animals?
No, dead meat. They
Wait,
they
is
call it
there
dead
a live meat?
Well, yeah.
Oh, because if it's still an animal running around, it's alive meat.
I mean, because we have
Yeah,
live
dead
lobster, we got to give it its holy place, you know. So
Drop it in the boiling
Drop it
water
in
and
boiling
hear it
water,
scream
yeah.
for its life, and then
yeah, we have crabs and fish. I mean, sometimes it
that is
has to
live
be
meat.
what
cook
it
it and
is.
dip it
yeah.
in butter.
You know? Oh yeah, I love
I
butter.
see what you're saying.
Who
They-
doesn't love butter?
I don't
I
know.
mean, come on.
I don't know
Yeah.
anybody. Communists.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you mean literally working with a live animal? They don't like to do that.
No.
Dead meat.
Well, dead meat. They don't
Well,
want
when
to work
they
with
see
dead
when
meat.
they see a
touch-
chicken
they don't
that's
wanna touch the
that's
dead meat.
already like been skinned off, and you have to cut into it. They're like, they don't want to touch it. They actually freak out. So donuts
Why?
that come in quarters. Says, no, that's when you have to store it. You have to touch it because they feel that again, they watch too much TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. I mean, those shows, the baking competitions, Hell's Kitchen, all that's great, but that's entertainment. The real world is you have to know how to what they call fabricate, break down a chicken,
Butcher an animal.
butcher animal. Exactly.
yeah.
Right,
You know, it's not like my
Well,
cousins.
they do that though on like MasterChef, some of those shows. Like that'll be like a challenge. They got to
Yeah.
learn how to separate a chicken, and and they get Gordon on there, and he's all and then, yeah.
So, but does this thing show up like feathers on it?
No.
Okay,
no,
I'm saying
no,
what to what? Yeah, but it's
But when it comes to fish, you talk about a whole fish that
Well,
you
yeah.
know that you have to actually gut in front of someone, and they just like, oh my God, there's Jason. So I mean, we just try to try to let them know this is part of what you need to learn how to do. You need to learn how to touch your gut and pull it out. So
Yep.
it's not.
And sometimes the fish is pregnant.
how to
It
clean,
is.
how to actually clean
Yep.
the fish. Yeah.
Isn't that caviar?
caviar
Depends on the fish.
Yeah, it does depend on the fish.
Yeah.
Maybe just eggs. You mean you're pulling out?
Yeah.
What?
It's kind of
It
a like
is.
a sack.
It's an egg
it's-
sack.
I don't know how. Yeah. All I know is when I was in basics, we had one that was pregnant. Our chef instructor took that thing out and threw it right on the grill.
Yeah.
The sack?
Boy.
The
Yeah,
sack.
the sack.
Yep.
It does have taste, but again, you have to be.
It's no different than cracking an egg.
Well, no, the cracking egg is different.
Saying that's
You
a
have
sack.
yolk, but it's not salty.
You cook it up.
Well,
It's not salty. I like that.
yeah, the sack is salty.
Okay.
Isn't that a restaurant? The Salty Sack.
If not, it should be.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, so,
Meet you guys over at
I'm getting some ideas over here.
yeah.
Like John just quit the show.
I'll be back next episode.
Oh, that's where you guys hanging out at. The Salty Sack.
That'd be a cool name for a restaurant, the
It
Salty
would be,
Sack.
wouldn't
It's like,
You cannot put salty sack and hanging out in the same sentence. You just can't do that. I don't know why you always go to those places, Scott.
or you say you're going down on
Followed
the
him right
set.
through the door. He walked in right behind him.
Let's go down to the Salty Sack.
That ain't right. See if it'll hang out.
Oh man.
That must be an old place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's very interesting. I mean, it's rewarding that I can really manipulate food and make people think it's something else.
What's your signature dish?
My signature dish is.
Or do you or is it a baking thing or is it a?
It's a savory thing.
Savory thing.
It's confetti rice.
Confetti.
It's the cousin of dirty rice, which is usually chicken gizzards that you cook with rice. But mine's usually.
So dirty rice, is that kind of Southern or Cajun kind
That's
of cooking?
more Cajun.
Okay.
That's Louisiana.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine's is
confetti rice.
it has all the different colors of peppers in there, so it looks like confetti. And I actually put either pork or chicken and kind of chop it up. And when it's folded in the rice, you really can't see it, but it gives off great taste, a good accent to say if I'm going to do a lamb chop or half chicken. So it's really good. That's my signature. That won a competition for me. Actually.
Nice.
Wow.
You know,
Sweet.
my first competition was with a rice dish with Tommy Tan, believe it or not, and I won the competition with that rice. Yeah,
Is it keto friendly? No, I'm just.
I guess. I mean, if you, if you take out the
rice?
the pork and the rice,
If you
and
take out the
onions.
flavor.
Pork
If you
is
take out
okay.
the- if you take out
keep
the
that
flavor
pork- you keep
and-
that pork in there, but I don't know about the rice.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And you would typically pair that with, I could see chicken, or you said a pork chop, or
Pork chop or steak. It doesn't matter
Steak.
because it's just a compliment rice dish that can go with anything. You know,
That's great.
So
Do you have a signature baking dish?
actually, I don't. I just other
Because
than
you're teaching it, right?
I teach it.
Yeah.
I teach it. I don't have one that's my favorite because there's so many that I like to do. I mean, tiramisu is probably one of my favorite, and then I have another one which is which I'm going to teach in a couple of weeks is opera cake, and it's a very layered cake that has several different layers, and the technique is just doing so many different things to give it such a great taste.
And why is it called opera cake? Because when you eat it, you're like, whoa!
Take a bite.
Hit an operatic note.
Well, no, but the opera and the soccer tort, which is another Vienna dish, is coming from a hotel.
Okay.
And from Soccer Hotel, which is in Vienna. And the soccer tort is strictly from that, and that's their signature cake, which I like to do. And the opera is similar to that. So
How are you with cupcakes?
I love cupcakes. I'll make a cupcake. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
love me
but
some
it's not
cupcakes.
the cupcake; it's the buttercream icing.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Because there's so many. There's a French, there's a German, there's an American, there's Italian, so it depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a different with the icing, because I'm a bit of an expert on this.
Okay.
It's the balance. Like you don't want it too sweet and
Right.
gritty, but then, I don't want it to taste like whipped cream.
Like meringue. You don't want it to be like meringue. You
I'm
want it
just
to be
disappointed anytime I put whipped cream on a cake.
Smooth.
Stop it. Stop it. Now, if
be
it's
illegal.
strawberry shortcake, maybe, but not like a real cake.
Yeah.
I want some real
most
frosting.
whipped creams don't have sugar in it. And you do a classic dish, the whipped cream it doesn't have sugar. It's just kind of bland because the sweetness is in the actual dish itself. So you don't need any more sugar.
Yeah,
But when you
not
do
with cupcake.
a buttercream,
Yeah.
you're right. It has to complement what you're
Yeah.
going to put on there,
Yeah.
and it has to be silky and smooth.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
You don't want that hard
See?
one that you get from the store for $1 that's in the little jar.
No, they could last through the apocalypse. Yeah, no, I'm talking about some real stuff. Yeah, that's
Used
awesome.
by 2046.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk cuisines because I get confused with this. I was telling the guys earlier, it's a little bit like animals, like species. Like there's different kinds of cuisines. I know I've heard like French and all that, But is there a certain amount or number of cuisines? I guess that's my first question.
No, I mean, because all of it's culture. I mean, you have so many different countries, and every one is a cuisine. I mean, if we technically look at the United States, we have Southern cuisine, we have Texas cuisine, we have California. I mean, so it goes all over. So there's not one set one. It's just so many. But when you start talking about the United States, it's definitely based on region. People always want to talk about their barbecue, but there's only 4 kinds of barbecue. 4 kinds of places that specialize in barbecue.
Okay.
Okay, that's Southern barbecue.
Right.
That's Texas barbecue.
Right.
It's
Memphis.
Kansas City.
Yeah, or Kansas City.
Okay, and St. Louis. Those are only 4. That's the major. Okay.
What differentiates them?
Okay, so Southern, it's strictly pork.
Yeah.
Strictly pork is Southern.
Southern.
Yeah, Southern barbecue is strictly pork, and depending where you are in South Carolina or North Carolina, you either have what they call a mustard mop, and it's more of a vinegary type of
Right.
of sauce, and then you have Texas, which is strictly beef.
Mm.
And then when it cuts down to the other 2, St. Louis and Kansas City, it's a combination of both, but a lot of them are more prone to be on the pork side than on the beef.
Yeah, a lot of barbecues kind of a little more pork driven. I mean, obviously, but you have pulled pork and ribs and things like that. But yeah,
What a beautiful thing.
I kind of like Texas, I think, because I'm more of a beef guy. So I mean, I like the brisket and then obviously the steaks, but even beef ribs, especially short ribs.
Short ribs. Oh yeah.
Which I love. But the funny thing is, in the stores, they always cut them. But I would love to, if you've seen them because you're a chef. But I mean, the short ribs they sell in the store, they're on this bone with this kind of meat, but that's only half.
Right.
Usually they come in 4 ribs, right? And they're twice that length typically.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about it is, most people won't buy it because it'll cost too much by weight.
I know it's got to run
that's
about
what it boils down
$6
to.
a
Just
pound.
like if you was to get the shank of a steer, which would make ossobuco, which is it's just an awesome,
or
amazing
you could
dish.
use oxtail.
Okay, but it depends on the size of the cow.
Right.
Ossobuco could be 4 ounces, could be 10 ounces.
Right.
But it's
But in the case of short ribs, they're literally cutting them.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've seen that where they cut them in half, basically, and I didn't know that. Because like you're like I used to look all the time, and I also didn't realize that when you look at the best kinds of ribs, it's usually those short ribs. It's not the regular big rack of beef ribs. I mean, those are good too, but they don't have as much meat. Those short ribs have a ton.
Those short ribs has the most fat, but that fat makes the flavor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, butter, fat, anything that has FAT in there, I'm a happy person.
Absolutely.
Ribeye is my favorite cut.
Yeah.
That's why, because of the fat. And you can overcook it. You got grace there. Like most steaks, if you cook it past medium, you might as well throw it out or wear it for as a shoe.
Seriously, just like prime rib. I mean, prime rib is a great cut of meat, but if you go a couple of degrees up to the left, you're gone.
Yep.
So you want something that has a nice fat cap on it, and when you can cook it slow, and like you said, you can get away with it.
You do that with brisket too. There's always
brisket
you
is
got to
just
cut some of that off, but I mean,
but you know what?
When that fat melts into the meat.
Yeah, that's what
I know.
Yep.
And it's like 16 hours or whatever you got to cook that.
That brisket I made the other day, I smoked it. It was 12 hours, and it was perfect. Just salt, pepper, garlic powder.
Yeah, well, the average is between 12 to 13 hours. That's average.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A good brisket will be about 15 hours.
Yeah.
Full size?
Yeah, full brisket.
Full brisket.
But then again, it's all about, do you have a good temperature control oven that will let you keep it at that temperature? I mean, the classic, even with pork, you do good pork in the South. They take a whole pig, and it would take almost 24 hours to cook that pig.
Yeah. Wow.
Because it's about cooking low.
How about Hawaii
slow.
when they cook it in the ground?
That's
the pit.
Which the pit.
Throw those leaves over them and all that.
Have you been? I've been to Maui, and I've had that food. It is awesome.
I haven't been into Hawaii, but I've been to Paramount. They have a lot of Hawaiians. Samoans, some Hawaiians.
You could have said Hawaiian Gardens.
Hawaiian Gardens. I've been to the gardens.
But
no, seriously, in Paramount, there is an abnormal amount of Samoans.
Yeah, there is.
That's not Hawaii, but I'm just saying. But
But even in the
nicest
pit,
people, though.
the pit is 14 hours. Even Hawaiian pit is 14 hours.
Wow.
They start at like 2 in the morning, and by about 6 in the evening,
well,
it's
they
ready
need
to go.
it, but they do all that hula dance, and they burned a lot of carbs. They're ready to eat.
Right?
Give me that.
They got to dig the hole. They got to get the coals in
Yeah.
there. They got to get
Right.
the
They got to
a lot
watch
of work.
3 movies by The Rock. Right? And then,
it's the law. The law says. Yeah.
so, okay, I'm going to name some cooking groupings. You tell me if it's a cuisine or not.
Okay.
Okay. Deep fried.
Deep fried.
Is that a cuisine?
That's Southern.
But I'm just saying, can that just be its own cuisine?
No, because
So there's like French,
you have to-
Italian, deep fried.
Yeah, but
French, Italian, fried.
you have to name it, and it has to be it has to be attached to a certain region. You could say fried what? Because I could say fried chicken, and the first thing you would think of is the South.
Right.
Fried okra.
Yeah.
South.
Fried Twinkies.
South.
It could be South.
Los Angeles
fried
County
butter.
Fairgrounds.
Say what?
Deep
Las
fried
Vegas.
Deep fried butter. That would be the fairgrounds in Pomona.
That's an example. That's pre-stimulus check. What is? No, I was going to ask. So, what's an example of some fried foods that are in a different region than the South?
Okay, let's take one of my favorites that you like, beignets. That's a fried donut.
Oh, sure. But isn't that New Orleans? That's
New
still
Orleans.
the South.
Yes.
Well, but it's French though.
It's French.
Is it in France? Do they really do beignets in France?
They do a form of that, yes, because it's like the puff pastry not puff pastry, excuse me, the eclairs and the
Pâte à
choux dough that they use. So it's a version of that because it's kind of built on.
But the actual beignet is really more of a, I guess it's Southern. It's New Orleans.
It's a New Orleans thing, but it came from a place called Café Du Monde.
Which is where?
Which is in New Orleans.
New
It's famous. It's still there, and people, by the tons go there just so they can eat the beignets. you know.
Nice. I like that.
But then when you talk about things like, say, fried zucchini, I mean, then it kind of starts moving over here because California is known for vegetables. And it's known for, you know,
but they still fry
They still fry, yeah. You know.
Well, but in the South, they have deep fried green tomatoes.
They do. Fried green tomatoes.
Yeah,
and they made a movie of it, too.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
I didn't care for the movie.
But then,
Never saw it.
didn't you say
Give me
too,
some Dolly Parton. What? Sorry, go ahead. She's in that movie. She's a great actress. She's a good actress. She's underrated as an actress.
Get a little drool right there.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm not attracted to her. I'm saying she's an underrated actress.
I'm working 9 to 5.
I like that movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's a few of them that she's
Dabney
in that
Coleman.
she did really good.
Yeah.
She made one of the Christian movies too at one point.
Yeah.
It was like about a choir. I can't remember the name of it. But I met the kid who was in it.
Sister Act?
No,
that's
that was-
Whoopi Goldberg.
That's Whoopi. Whoopi Dolly. Whoopi Dolly. No, but seriously, no, I can't remember. Joyful Noise or something like that.
Okay.
It was just one of those movies about a church type choir. Or was it? Yeah, no. Fighting Temptations was Cuba Gooding.
Yeah, I guess
Cuba. All right. Were you going to ask something?
No, I was going to say that one of the things I found interesting, I mean, Chef's taught me a lot of things since I met him.
Oh, he calls him chef. I like that.
That's
I do.
respect.
So if Scott was on a cooking show, he'd be like studied under Chef Glenn Smith.
Yeah. That's his stage name.
Under the tutelage.
Under the tutelage, I learned beignets.
Yeah.
You ever notice beignets in the past? It's because they go so fast. They're beignet.
Been there.
Not gonna be yay.
You're a beignet.
Not about to yay. It's beignet. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say because he had mentioned that there was, you know, different cultures have almost the same types of things. Like you had said,
Their version of it.
Like different
version of it,
versions of
yeah.
a similar dish.
So let's go on a journey for a second.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I love journeys. Let's go.
You know, I'm originally from New York. I'm from Queens, New York. You know,
Nice.
Where LL Cool J and
You came to
Run
America
DMC,
and went
I
to
came
Queens.
to America.
Yeah.
The rest of the world.
His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
But my folks are from Charleston, South Carolina. So,
Okay.
you know, during the summer, we would spend our summers in. So I had the luxury of
And Charleston's
learning
on the east side,
on the East
of
Coast
South
on the.
Carolina. Yeah.
You went to Charleston in the summer on purpose.
That's
Who
where we
goes-
went. Our parents,
Yeah, but
goes
he's-
there
our
in the
parents made us
summer?
go there.
but from New York.
Well,
Right.
They're pretty similar as far as the humidity.
Six
It's
months
pretty
doesn't
humid in
mean
New York
nothing.
in the
No,
summer.
it's horrible
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
And it's not much better in Charleston, except
No,
you
it's
got
not.
the water.
No, it's
but,
not.
Yeah.
But you know, that's where we went, and we ate our fresh vegetables. I mean, you know, we had fresh killed chicken, our eggs, and all that. And I'd named that chicken, Bob. We haven't eaten that. Come on.
Isn't that crazy though? You make the chicken do all the work and lay some eggs, and then you kill it.
Yep.
Bob's going to be our key Bob.
Yep.
It's hard outside for a chicken.
But there was a chicken run. It's a hard life for a chicken, but
got the do rag like Tupac. He's got the rag.
Sorry. Go
from
ahead.
the clock side. But there's a dish that you know over time that we ate. You know, as kids, it was okra stew. Okay, it's okra, corn, lima beans, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, as I ventured out, I learned that that dish is still migrates into different portions. So if I took it back up north, and added more corn and more lentils and beans, it would be called succotash.
Ah.
If I brought it back down and moved it over to like New Orleans, okay, then I would have something like gumbo.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now keep in mind, gumbo is a dish that normally, it's usually seafood, but you can put whatever you want in there. Yeah. But if we move it over southernly, like towards South America, it's a cousin of paella. Because it has the same ingredients. We all eat the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even a third world country has rice. I don't care what but if you go to Thailand, they use cilantro. They use red pepper. Mexico, cilantro, chili flakes. I mean, so we're all using it. It's just how we interpret it. So let's take, like in Mexican cuisine, they have sofrito, which is peppers, onions, garlic. Well, they saute it and chop it up. Whereas if you go to South America, they puree it. It's the same sofrito.
If you go into Philly, they put it on some cheese steak and cook it up and put some meat with it and wrap it in a bun.
No, you forgot the cheese whiz.
And the cheese whiz.
Come on.
There's no version of cheese whiz anywhere else.
You got to have cheese whiz.
You got to
on
have cheese
Philly.
whiz.
Cheese
See,
whiz.
the issue that we have with people saying certain things is that it's not real.
Right.
You can't be in LA and say, I got Philly cheesesteak.
Right.
You're not in Philly.
Right.
Just like a New York pizza.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. But if you ask any pizzeria from New York, and they'll tell you what makes their pizza so good, because I love it slightly sweet, it's the water.
Yeah. You can't duplicate that.
You cannot do Now, New York is
The
not known
water.
for great water, but the
Yeah.
water's come from Niagara Falls. It's coming
Interesting.
down.
Yeah.
It's the water that makes the
Where do
dough.
they put? Oh, in the
Mineral-
dough.
the mineral
It's in the
content.
dough.
I was just
Yes.
curious where the water, what part of the.
But
pizza.
then again, you can't call Chicago. So the word that saves people here is style. If you say Louisiana
style.
style,
Right.
then you can't be.
Well, because then you're just talking more, but like with pizza, at least you're
Right.
talking about it's thin crust, or Chicago style, it's thick crust, or it's
Right.
you know,
New York style.
New York style, right.
Right.
But, you know, I love New York pizza, and
Yeah.
I love Chicago pizza. I mean,
Well, I like that style too.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's
But-
awesome.
oh, yeah. You know, so, I mean, so when you talk about cuisine, it travels.
Yeah.
We just kind of interchanging certain dishes for certain ingredients for another, and it's the same thing.
That's awesome.
You know, they have a thing called chili verde,
Right?
right, which is basically
Pork with some
well,
green
chili
chili.
verde is just
Green chili.
tomatillo, green
Right.
chilies, and all that.
Yeah, the sauce.
But when you go to the South and you're eating collard greens, they have a thing called chow chow, which is also green, which is just almost the same form of chili verde. It just substituting certain ingredients.
yeah. And then when you go, where I don't know where, but what's that green stuff that people put on pesto?
Pesto. Well,
Is that
pesto.
similar at all, or
No,
no?
pesto is more Italian, and that's
Yeah.
like more about
Basil.
basil.
Oh, I
a
see.
lot of basil.
Yeah.
Love
Got
basil.
it.
Love
Basil
Got
is
it.
sexy. Okay, I just love
I was
You just don't know how much I love basil.
I was
You know
never
her
a
too,
Sherlock
huh?
Holmes. I was never a Sherlock Holmes fan.
Yeah.
You know the guy who played Sherlock Holmes for a long time,
Oh,
Basil Rathbone.
Yes.
It's actually Basil.
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 But I mean, you know, that's, you know, garlic, basil,
Stupid.
pine nuts,
Shout out to my
and just
aunt.
kind of whip it up, and then it's a good
That's
thing.
cool, man.
Yeah.
So going back to the succotash and the what'd you call it in South
Paella?
Carolina? No, South Carolina.
Okra stew.
Okra stew. Right. So what is that in California? They mess everything
No,
up.
it's
by the time it gets
still-
California.
Yeah,
it's
but
messed up.
then they have their own form of what they consider gumbo.
California has a form of gumbo.
Girl, they just called it
Chili. What do they call it?
See, that's where no, because California wants to claim chili, but chili is Texas. And
Oh no, I knew that, but I'm saying like I'm trying to think of a joke, and I can't think of something that's a California dish that would be some snooty version of okra stew or succotash.
No, there's really nothing. That's
I know
gonna be
because
like
California's like all supposedly health crazy.
that. No,
Oh my gosh, I can't eat that.
Like Orange County be rolling out some some bone broth. That's what we got.
It'd be like, but it'd be like distilled, defatted bone broth.
Yeah,
I
with no
tell
gluten.
you what,
Yeah.
you know what I had for the
Gluten-free.
first time like last week? I had vegan pork rinds. I'm just trying to figure out where this pig grows.
Yeah, you lost
Okay.
me. Yeah, I ain't trying.
Vegan pork rinds.
What?
I can't
Yeah.
do vegan. I'm sorry.
I can't do pork rinds.
I can. Well, pork rinds are tough.
Oh,
I
that's
can
I'm
do
just trying to
vegan.
say a pig doesn't grow out the ground.
I understand. No, I understand. I don't know how you do vegan. Yeah, or there's some bald pigs running around. It'll grow back. Don't worry. Oink. You know,
It's time to shear the pigs.
right? It'll shear some pigs because vegans. Look, vegetarians. I can almost understand. I don't just get vegans because they're just stuck up vegetarians.
Vegans,
Go again.
Here we are.
Here we go.
I'm gonna
Coming
land
back
here every
around.
time.
They're-
Glenn never heard that, so I
They
just
are just a different breed of people,
they're elitists.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
and you know it's
Most of them born before 80 or after 80. I mean, sorry,
I mean, you know,
vegans.
meat is meant to be cooked,
Meat is meant to be ate.
and there you go. Amen to that,
Listen,
brother.
if God didn't want to, just like you said, if God didn't want us to eat animals, then He would have
And
made them
you know
all out of
what?
meat.
Yeah.
If you kind of go through the Bible, God loves barbecue.
Dude, God,
He
is-
loves barbecue.
Of course He
okay?
does.
Right?
He loves
he
barbecue.
does.
So you know,
God's a carnivore.
anybody
guy.
wants to argue that, and matter of fact, they did try to be vegetarians when Moses crossed with the manna, right? They got kind of pissed off. Why? They wanted meat. So
So what did God send? He sent some quail. He sent some quail.
there you go.
They needed him. Give me some bird.
Give me some
A guy-
bird. You know?
And they're in the wilderness. They were deep frying that stuff.
A guy I work with says when they offer him salad, he says that's food for food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where
The
actually
food eats.
what they used to do is they used to come in the wilderness when they sent the quail and the manna. They would take the quail and deep fry it, throw it on the manna, and that's where chicken and waffles was born. And seriously,
I'll have a manna cheesesteak.
No, I'm saying, and I'm like the guy who invented it. You know, he was an old Hebrew dude named Roscoe, and so
There we go. Brother Roscoe.
Roscoe from the Levite tribe. It's like, hey, I got something for you.
Oh my goodness!
I get some cheese whiz, God.
That's
Whiz wit.
Strike the stone with thy staff,
Why-
and cheese with shall flow
and, why,
forth.
and then they started. That's why they built a golden calf. They're like, you need some steak, God. Worship some beef.
Some golden steak.
And that's where McDonald's came from. Anyway,
McDonald's is of the devil.
You know?
I'm just telling you.
Roscoe.
Over 3 billion diagnosed at McDonald's.
it's still counting.
We call it McBeaties.
Still standing. It's not going to go away.
No, of course.
But
it's
you know,
not.
it's funny because people think I know all these other burger establishments beat up on McDonald's, but you know, McDonald's is not known for their burgers. They're just not. They're known for their fries.
Yeah.
And
Well,
everybody
sure,
wants to
that's-
copy their fries. I mean,
That is true.
everyone
Yeah.
wants to copy their fries.
Yep.
You know,
That's true. But, you know, they sell a lot of Big Macs.
Yes, they
but
do.
they're not, like you said, no, they don't necessarily claim
I mean,
they got the best burger.
look at the whole point of coming to America. Think about it. And in the scene where John Amos is
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at the book,
yeah.
he's actually looking at the fry. I mean, it's just the
Right.
manual of the fries. It's
Right,
always
right.
going to be about the fries.
I just love it.
You know,
The
God
McFlubby.
bless French fries. I love French fries.
You made the McFlubby in coming to America.
You know,
Dose.
you know,
I think they got the McFlurry. We got the McFlubby. They put their topping on top. We put ours on the bottom.
Yeah, they had the golden arches.
that a-
We had the golden
Arcs.
Bottoming.
But you know, but I will say, out of French fries, I still love Nathan's French fries. I'm a big Nathan's fan. I mean,
I
before-
haven't been to Nathan. I've always wanted to, but I haven't been there yet. That's
if
the hot
you
dog
ever get to
place.
go,
That's
to
in
Coney Island, yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
As a kid, we used to
Well,
go to
let's
Coney
go.
Island a lot. My uncle used to work at Nathan's, so we would go and we, you know, just it being a paper cone, and I loved it. You had this
yeah.
little a wooden fork, and you would just eat your crinkle cut fries.
Yeah.
Just so
Oh,
awesome.
crinkle cut. Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
I love crinkle cut fries. You know.
Sweet. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. But Glenn may be on some future shows.
I'll bring food next time. I
oh
promise.
my goodness,
Okay.
please.
I'm gonna bring food.
We can't
Bring that
record
mirror
ourselves.
cake that you made the other day.
Oh yeah. I'll make bring a chocolate mirror cake.
Mirror cake?
Yes, it's basically just chocolate that we cook. We add some gelatin to it.
It really
and
don't matter.
flavor-
You said chocolate.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay,
You had
then-
me at chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's hard to even explain because after I say chocolate, no one wants to hear what I got to say. After
Yeah.
this, like,
I just
just
wanted
who cares
cake.
whatever you say?
yeah.
It's chocolate.
I went
so
to a
it's-
daydream as soon as you said that.
Yeah.
I know you were talking, but what I heard was it's
Yeah,
got
just chocolate,
chocolate,
yeah.
and then there's
Yeah.
some chocolate and chocolate, and then
And
we
you
had
know,
some
I feel
chocolate.
bad when they say that. It's like, okay, yeah.
Right.
It's a chocolate cake. How
Every
about
love,
that?
every love song in the world went through my head, and all of it was about chocolate. Afternoon delight.
Oh no!
So, real quick, do you do anything that's like the big things keto? Do you do anything that's like that?
No.
Okay. God
No.
love you. God love you.
He's a purist.
Yeah, I'm purist. I'm
a
sorry.
purist.
You know,
We're
they
gonna use some
call
real-
me a keto snob, but I just like to use real things like butter. And
But you can use butter in keto. Real butter. They recommend it to use
do you
real
know
butter.
the difference between butter and margarine is only four calories? That's it.
I don't think it's
Margarine
calories
is
though.
margarine
it's
is
the
4,
carbs.
butter's 8. That's
It's the
it.
carbs and the sugar content.
Who cares about that? It's butter, man.
Well, but wouldn't you, as a chef, rather
you hear
use
me say
real,
butter?
Yes.
real butter
Yeah.
versus margarine?
And it just has such
So-
a better taste.
Because I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say with keto, they do want you to use real butter,
Yeah.
not the fake stuff. So,
butter.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I love butter.
Yeah.
When Jen makes those cookies and she's like throwing the sticks of butter
Sticks
in
of
the
butter.
mixer.
Oh my goodness. Just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it tastes good. You can taste it. So we're going to wrap this one up, but Glenn will be back in future episodes, probably next week and the week after.
You're psychic.
This has been fascinating. This has been a fascinating discussion on food. Hey, guys, if you have food questions, throw them in the chat rooms
Yeah,
and let us
please.
know, and maybe we could give you an answer, and we'll talk to Glenn, the master chef that's with us. What, Scott?
Do you have any kind of Instagram or anything like that where people can follow you at?
Yeah, you guys can follow myself with Sky. I don't know why he's being so shy, but it says Chef Foodie's Friends on Instagram. We also have a email. We also have a YouTube. So we're working on that right now. I'm trying to put that together.
Cool. Awesome. Chef Foodie Friends.
Yes.
Chef Foodie Friends.
Right. That's
All right.
cool. The Chef Foodie. Should get some chef booty.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, dang! I'm the one that's supposed to say
I
that
was
kind
trying
of
to be
stuff.
nice, but okay. I
I'm
ain't
just
mad.
saying the chef booty comes from eating your own food.
Chef booty.
Then you get a chef booty.
You got chef booty.
No, the
Look at that guy.
booty's up front. That's where the stomach is. My booty's up front.
Front booty's up front.
Little front booty.
Some like 4-year-olds going, your booty backwards.
Your booty's on the wrong side.
Wrong side. That's on my mama. All
You
right,
gotta
guys.
enter the room walking backwards.
You should have a beep when you walk in. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Please follow, or wait, no, you already follow us. No, follow us. Maybe you don't follow us. Follow
Do it.
us and share with your friends, and maybe we
like
can get
it.
a few more followers.
Yeah.
And tell us on all the social media stuff. Every time I go into this rant, Scott is like waving at his camera and doing stuff like he's got. And Scott got some fans. Anyway, we will see you guys next time with another exciting episode that is as yet undecided. Is there anything else I'm supposed to tell him, Jared?
No, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Comedy Food Truck YouTube channel.
Subscribe. We're trying to monetize it, and if we can get 10,000 followers, we'll make some money.
That's right. $10 at least.
Right.
Yep.
Every 3 weeks.
Actually, I think 10,000 would get you something. Wow. What's the nut? Do you know what the cutoff is? For
1,000.
that? It's 1,000.
1,000.
So once you get past that, you could do
1,000,
something.
and then I can't remember the views. but
Wait,
we're-
1,000 YouTube followers, you can start making money?
You have to have that and a combined number of views.
Oh.
So we'll, yeah,
And you have
we'll
to be
get there.
good.
Well,
Right.
if you get
So,
1,000
yeah.
followers,
So
you're
we're
probably
out.
good.
Right.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Well, help us out. Follow us. I know it's a little bit of a longer episode, so hopefully you got stuck in traffic as you're listening. We'll see you guys next time. Everybody say bye.
Bye. Bye.